Today we're going to take a look at how we could use swing dynamics to help a player improve their impact position. I've had a lot of success with the ideas I'm going to share with you today with players. Hopefully you'll find a few pieces or ideas here to help you with your game. Hi again everyone. So I can hear yourself saying after the intro there, so what does he mean by swing dynamics? So for today, by swing dynamics, what we're going to be looking at is the timing between the different segments in the golf swing and how that can really help us with our positions, especially moving into impact and getting that strike that we're looking for. Okay, but before we go into the video, if you're enjoying the content, as always, please remember to hit subscribe, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment box below. Okay, so today I've got a couple of players I've held recently in mind, and essentially through impact really struggled with getting the delivery they wanted, really struggled managing their low point in particular and getting the face to square up. And obviously there's so many different ways you can go about that, but what I noticed with the players that I have in mind today is that they weren't really getting well rotated to the target, and at the same time the timing between the pelvis, the rib cage, the arms, the hand and the club, there wasn't enough timing between each segment speeding up. It would look very much together. So if I was to somewhat try and copy what I'm visualizing here from the lessons, is it to the top, to be very together with the pelvis and the upper body, and then moving into impact, the arms, hand and club would speed up really quickly. Okay, so what I essentially encouraged with those players was to, from the top, have more of a sense of the pelvis leading. So essentially, if 12 o'clock was, I'm looking at you in the camera, I would want to encourage them to get their belt buckle pointed out to 11, 10 o'clock as early as they could. So let's get the belt buckle out towards 10 o'clock, and then let the rib cage or the sternum might be a nicer reference to point out towards 10 o'clock as well. And at the same time though, I want them to almost delay the club, leave the club behind them. Okay, so we're creating a longer stretch phase there in the initial start of downswing. We're really lengthening that time between the pelvis reaching peak speed, the rib cage reaching peak speed, and the arm speeding up as well. So essentially, a couple of reference points that worked really well for the players to achieve that was, from the top, let's get the pelvis pointed as we censored here. Now if we use the target at 12 o'clock, let's get the pelvis pointed out towards 1 o'clock. Let's get the rib cage out towards 1 o'clock. Let's get the lead arm pointed at the target at the same time as well. The club is still higher than the hands and slightly behind the hands from the down the line view. So if you think of the circles that each segment is moving on, the pelvis is ahead on its circle, the rib cage is ahead on its circle, and you can almost imagine runners going around a running track and how they start off, how the inside lane gets a head start, and then the club head being the outside lane there is the last. And think of it in this example here, it being quite a way behind. And in this position with the club head trailing, you should feel a good amount of stretch across your torso, especially across the lead shoulder and around the lead lat area. A nice little visual in this position that you may connect with is just imagine an elastic band attached to your lead hip, so it's pulling up and out the way on one end, and it's attached to the club head on the other end. And right around hip high with the hands is where we'd be in the most amount of stretch on the band there. Okay, so from there, we're gonna, as we push off the ground there, coming into impact, that's when that band is going to really recoil, and we're gonna get that club head speed increasing and the club releasing into impact. So we want to get into that position there where we've got that stretch, so that when we push off the ground, it's going to release and that elastic band is going to really retract really quickly. So that's essentially, the band there is really just an analogy for the fascial system and how we can use our body in a way similar to an elastic band. Okay, let's hit a couple. So again, going back to the references, from top of a backswing, lead elbow points at the target. Going to get the belt buckle and the chest pointed out towards 1 o'clock, and feel as though the sweet spot, the club, is a little higher and a little bit behind my hands. Feel that nice sort of stretch, and I can feel there that my body literally wants to do everything for me. That's the coolest thing about this position. Let's hit one here for you now. So a little clean there, but definitely felt that my club head was trailing the bigger segments, definitely follows other pelvis lead, which I'm very pleased about. I want to get one here with a little bit cleaner contact. So let's get clear on the concept here. Yep, feeling really nice about a stretch there. Feel as though I can get into impact really nicely. Better contact there. I mean, really just, it feels so good once you have that sense of the club head really trailing behind the body there, okay? I mean, what I'm doing here is actually a really nice little visual as well, because we want the butt of the cup pointed just slightly out to the right of the target, keeping the club head higher than the hands, okay? See, from there, as I push off the ground, everything's gonna move in and square up nicely. So if you're looking to improve your contact, you may be very aware of certain positions you're trying to get into, but you're not quite connected to the dynamics and the timing of the different segments you need. So try some of those pointers, maybe some of those keys and cues will help you.